I'm 16 years old, and I've got an older brother who's 18. He's basically the golden child, but only in our mom's eyes. She's never tried to hide that she has a favorite, and well, it's not me. Ever since I was little, I could tell mom loved my brother way more than me. I couldn't figure out why. I mean, I tried so hard to be like him, copying everything he did, hoping to win her over. But what she found charming in him just annoyed her when I did it. Eventually, I gave up trying to impress her. It felt impossible. At least I had my dad. He loves me for who I am, and doesn't expect me to be a carbon copy of my brother to earn his affection. He doesn't play favorites, he treats us both the same. I'm so grateful for that, because at least one parent is normal and has my back. Mom, though, isn't exactly a pleasant person. She's good at hiding her true self, and her worst side only comes out when it's just me and my brother around. When dad's home, she acts like the perfect mom. It'd be easier if dad was around more. But he's always worked long hours and gone on business trips since I was a kid. He still does, so I end up spending a lot of time alone with mom and my brother. The thing is, mom's a stay-at-home mom, so every time I got back from school, she was there, ready to tear into me. She'd pick apart my appearance, find new things to criticize, and make me feel insecure every single day. For context, I was a super skinny kid, and according to mom, being skinny isn't attractive in girls. She reminded me of that constantly. I had glasses and weird hair, which she also hated. Despite her awful personality, she's pretty good looking, just like my brother. She'd say she wished I'd inherited her looks, but nope, I was the ugly duckling, and she never let me forget it. On top of that, my brother was a star at school and sports. I did well in school too. But sports? I was a total disaster. I had zero coordination and hated anything physical. Still, mom forced me to do sports, thinking it would fix my body and make me more attractive. She also made me eat a ton of protein, convinced it would help me gain weight. Let's be real, eating so much meat that you feel sick just looking at it. Not happening. I think that's why I became a vegetarian a few years ago, thanks to the trauma of being stuffed with beef and chicken. And guess what? All that eating didn't even work. Some people are just naturally skinny, and I'm one of them. I didn't have any issues with my body until mom started picking at me. To avoid her attacks, I started wearing baggy clothes, and my brother's old stuff. I was scared she'd say something awful if I wore anything that showed my figure. That went on for years, until I discovered I was actually good at something: swimming. I'd never tried it before because mom didn't push me into it. She's terrified of water herself, but a couple of years ago, I got the chance to join the school swim team, and everything changed. Honestly, it turned my life around. I found something I was really good at, and threw myself into it. My body got stronger. I gained some healthy weight, and I started looking better. Most importantly, I felt confident for the first time. I was actually happy. But my mom and brother? They weren't thrilled about my transformation. I guess it gave them fewer reasons to pick on me. I looked better, so they couldn't rag on my appearance as much. For a while I thought maybe they'd back off. Boy, was I wrong. I underestimated how much they resented me. They found a new way to mess with me, what I call the Cinderella syndrome. They expected me to be their personal servant 24/7. The second I tried to relax, they'd find some chore I had to do. I ended up doing almost all the housework. Scratch that. I did all of it when dad was away on trips. Mom and my brother always had excuses for why they couldn't lift a finger. I cleaned, cooked, did laundry, and handled every dirty job. If I complained about being tired after school, they'd just say, "Well, who else is gonna do it?" Mom claimed she was too exhausted because she's getting old. She's barely in her 40s, which is nowhere near old. My brother said he was too busy with school and all his activities, so of course he deserved to rest. Straight up, they turned me into their maid. They didn't just let me do all the work. They demanded it, probably hoping I'd break and give up what made me happy. But I decided no matter what, I'm not quitting swimming. This stuff only happened when dad was gone, which is about half the month. When he was home, we at least pretended to share the chores. You're probably wondering why I never told my dad about any of this. First off, I didn't want to tear the family apart. I just wanted everyone to be happy, you know. I guess you could say I was trying to please everybody, and that's what caused most of my problems. I knew my dad loved my mom so much. They were high school sweethearts, got married right after college, and relatives always told me how crazy they were about each other. I was terrified of breaking his heart by telling him the truth about what mom had become. I was scared he wouldn't believe me since mom and my brother always played the perfect family when he was around. I didn't want to risk ruining the only good connection I had with anyone in the family, so I just kept quiet and dealt with it. But recently I changed my mind. They were pushing me too far. I was exhausted from doing all their work. Before, it didn't mess with my schoolwork, but now I had some advanced classes, and I couldn't afford to waste so much time and energy. Plus, a couple of months ago, I finally got a phone. My parents never let me have one before, saying gadgets would ruin my future. Maybe they had a point, but it drove me nuts. On my 16th birthday, Dad gave me my own phone, and now that I had the chance, and the motivation, I decided it was time to expose Mom and my brother. I was done putting up with their awful treatment, just because they couldn't handle me finding something that made me happy. 2 weeks ago, I got a C on an assignment for the first time. The night before it was due, I had to wash a huge pile of clothes because Mom refused, and my brother said he was too tired. I didn't have a choice, I needed clean clothes, and if I'd only washed mine, they'd have started another fight. So I did it all, spent hours on it, and didn't have time to prep properly. My essay was a mess, and I got a bad grade. It wasn't fair, it wasn't even my fault, but my teacher didn't know what was going on at home, so I couldn't blame her. When I got home and told Mom about the C, I said I wasn't doing all the housework alone anymore. They needed to pitch in, but she just said it was my fault, that if I'd tried harder, I wouldn't need excuses. Then, like always, she brought up my brother. He's involved in everything and still gets good grades. You're just looking for someone to blame. That was the final straw. I realized I couldn't keep taking this. I didn't record her words that time, but I decided next time I'd set up a camera and catch it all on video to send to Dad. Let him deal with it. The next day, Dad came home and stayed for a few days before his next trip. I knew the second he left, Mom and my brother would be back at it, trying to turn me into their slave again. So, the day he left, as soon as he walked out the door, I started recording on my phone. Sure enough, within minutes, Mom and my brother barged into my room with a huge list of chores I had to do. No, please, no explanation, just order after order. They told me to get started right away. But this time, I decided to push back and see what happened. I flat out said I wasn't doing anything. Luckily, they acted even worse than usual, not knowing they were being recorded. Mom called me a lazy cow, saying she was just training me since, with my grades and stupidity, I'd never amount to anything. According to her, it was pointless for me to study or waste their money on education. My brother chimed in, just because I can do everything doesn't mean you can. Stop embarrassing yourself and accept your fate. Focus on housework, at least you'll be useful. Maybe you'll end up a maid someday. They kept spewing nasty stuff, even more than usual, and I was glad because it was all on video. My blood was boiling, but I held it together. I knew this would be the last time they treated me like this. When they were done, Mom ordered me to start working one last time and stormed out, slamming the door. I stopped the recording and sent the video to Dad right away. Along with it, I wrote a long message explaining everything, how they'd been bullying me for years, turning me into their servant when he was gone, humiliating me and destroying my confidence. I told him how scared I'd been to stand up to them, and how it was affecting my grades. I sent the video about an hour after he left, thinking he was already on his plane, but thankfully he hadn't boarded yet, and saw the message. He texted back, "Lock your door and don't do anything. I'm coming home." I sat quietly in my room for about 45 minutes until I heard Dad pull up to the house. I knew something big was about to go down. I stayed in my room, even after I heard Mom open the door and ask why he was back so soon. Within seconds, he was yelling at her, demanding to know what they thought they were doing after seeing the video I sent. He was tearing into both her and my brother, asking how they could treat me like that. They tried to play it off like it was all a joke, but Dad had already read my message. He told them to stop lying because he knew the whole truth now. That's when Mom realized she couldn't wiggle out of it. Everything was out in the open. She started making excuses, begging for forgiveness, saying she was just tired and lashing out. Dad asked her what the real reason was, but I don't know what he meant, and he still won't tell me. After that, they went to their bedroom, and I could hear them yelling, but I couldn't make out the words. I have no idea what they were fighting about. All I know is, half an hour later, Mom was packing a suitcase, sobbing hysterically. Dad told my brother to leave with her, and he didn't even argue. By then, I'd come out of my room totally confused about what was happening, but it was clear nothing good was going down. After they left, it was just me and Dad. I finally worked up the courage to ask what happened. He didn't give details, just said I was safe now and wouldn't have to deal with Mom anymore. He was in a bad mood, so I didn't push him with more questions and went back to my room. The next day, he came to me, apologized for acting off the night before, and said he was just overwhelmed. Then he told me he was filing for divorce, and that'd be just the two of us from now on. Mom was out of our lives. He also apologized for all the years I had to put up with her and said he wished I'd told him sooner because he would have stopped it right away. But now the decision was made, and he hoped we'd have a better future ahead. Honestly, I was relieved they were getting divorced. It meant I'd never have to deal with Mom again. She and my brother made my life miserable for 16 years, and one video sent to Dad got rid of them for good. I was proud of myself for finally standing up and exposing them. The next few days were pretty quiet. Dad worked in his office, and we only talked during meals. Otherwise, we kept to ourselves. I knew he was struggling, but I didn't know how to help, so I just tried to be there as much as I could. When we did talk, it seemed to calm him down a bit, but I could tell he was still heartbroken and missed Mom a lot. A few days ago, Mom got the divorce papers. I found out because my grandparents, Mom's parents, called me. We've never gotten along, they're just like her and I can't stand them. At first I ignored their calls, but they kept blowing up my phone, so I finally picked up. The second I answered, they started screaming that I'm a curse on the family, that everyone would be better off without me. They've always disliked me, but this was next level. I tried to say they couldn't talk to me like that, but they said they could say whatever they wanted, since I ruined their daughter's life. They claimed it was my fault she's divorced, that her years of marriage went down the drain because of one video I sent. They called me ungrateful, saying Mom sacrificed herself to have me despite a tough pregnancy and complications, and I betrayed her. My grandma said Mom risked her life to give birth to me, and I repaid her by destroying her marriage. She even said Mom should have listened to her and gotten an abortion because that would have been better than having a daughter like me. My grandpa twisted the knife, asking if I was happy now that I had the house while Mom lost her husband. I tried to explain that I never wanted the divorce and didn't ask Dad to leave Mom, but they hung up before I could finish and blocked me. Since then, I've been feeling awful. I know they were trying to manipulate me, and I guess it kinda worked because I do feel guilty about what happened. Part of me thinks I need to fix this somehow, that if I hadn't sent that video, Dad wouldn't have filed for divorce. Update. Hey, a lot of you asked if I'm adopted or just an unwanted kid. I don't have a clear answer yet, but one thing I know for sure, I'm their biological daughter. That said, judging by Mom's behavior, it's possible she didn't want me. I'm not going to apologize to her, or take back what I did. I'm definitely not asking Dad to call off the divorce, that'd be too much. Let Mom and my grandparents be as mad as they want. After everything they put me through, they don't deserve my sympathy or forgiveness, and they proved it, especially during that phone call. It's crazy I even felt guilty, but I guess it's my people-pleasing habit. I'm working on that so it doesn't mess with my decisions anymore. I talked to Dad about it, and we decided I should start therapy. I explained why I stayed quiet all those years. I didn't want to make anyone unhappy. I knew telling him the truth would break his heart. I hoped Mom would change and start treating me like a human, but that never happened. I also had a lot of self-doubt. I wasn't sure Dad would believe me, so I needed proof first. Therapy's gonna help me work through all that. So yeah, I've got a lot to work on, and we're looking into therapy. If everything goes well, I might start sessions in a couple of days. Update 2. Hey everyone. I finally got an answer to why my mom hated me. You guys were right. I was definitely an unwanted pregnancy. I worked up the nerve to ask my dad what he meant during his fight with Mom when he said he knew the real reason for how she treated me. In my first post, I mentioned I didn't push him for answers back then, because it was a rough day for all of us, and I didn't want to stress him out more. Plus, it seemed like something he didn't want to talk about, so I let it go. But today, a couple of hours ago, I finally asked. Dad told me that I was an unplanned pregnancy. After my brother was born, Mom didn't want more kids. Dad was really upset about it, but didn't pressure her to keep the pregnancy. His reaction was enough to make her decide to have me, but only for his sake. Then, my birth was tough. There were a lot of complications and it hit Mom hard. According to Dad, that's when she started resenting me. He never thought she'd treat me the way she did. She told him she felt no connection to me from the start, but he thought it was just postpartum depression and that things would get better with time. They never did. When he told me this, we both started crying. Even though I'd suspected it for a while, hearing it from him hurt like hell. He said he feels guilty for everything I went through, and we hugged tight. It was super emotional, but now that the truth is out, I feel some relief. I don't owe my mom anything. Yeah, I'm grateful she gave birth to me, but she never treated me right. I don't hold a grudge, but I'm letting it all go without regret. Update 3. Hey guys, I've been going to therapy for 2 weeks now, 2 sessions a week, and it's going pretty well. I think it's only gonna get better. One session is just me, and the other is with Dad so we can rebuild our relationship on a healthy foundation. The divorce process is moving along too. A few days ago, Mom and my brother came to pick up the rest of their stuff. Mom's officially moving in with her parents, and my brother's going with them. They completely avoided me, didn't even try to talk, which honestly I'm thankful for. Less reason to deal with them. They can hate me all they want, but it doesn't change the fact that their own behavior got them here. They ruined everything with how they treated people, and now they're dealing with the consequences. I'm not gonna feel sorry for them. Right now, my focus is fixing things with Dad and just moving forward, being as happy as I can. So, what do you think about this whole story? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I know a lot of people, including me, think I should have told my dad about Mom and my brother's behavior way sooner, but it happened the way it did, and I'm just glad I finally spoke up. Thanks for sticking with this story till the end. Check out our previous video linked here, and good luck to you all.